right, Rangers of the New Republic is one of the new shows announced here at Disney's meeting for the investors. And the basic description here that we have for this show is it's set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, new live action series from executive producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, working on that one together as well. It's going to intersect with future Star Wars stories and culminate into a climactic story event. So, sounds like it's going to be one piece in the grander scheme of things.
For sure.
But this show was like pretty much in my head 0% expected, and kind of not sure what to think about it. But like, I'm not turned off by it. I'll definitely, obviously, be tuning in.
You mean you're gonna
But
watch it probably? That's
yeah, I might give it a shot.
okay. That seems
But
fair. I know you don't watch a lot of Star Wars
no,
stuff, so
yeah, it's like, but no. So this obviously has some cool potential. Anything set within the time frame of Mandalorian gives the idea that you could have a lot of crossover. Obviously, it's going to be
right.
culminating in something bigger. Ideally, probably something with Mando and Ahsoka, which also takes place during the same time period. Crossover with characters, things like that.
Hmm.
My first thought is obviously, they just made Cara Dune the new marshal or sheriff in town, right? For the New
Right.
Republic. She went, as Mando said, she went legit. Um, and
What
so,
a shame, really, but whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, for real.
It's like,
She
oh,
got a
she's
new
supposed to be
shiny
a bounty
badge.
hunter.
She can break people out of jail like Mayfield, which could be a fun character to make an appearance, right? Maybe he
That'd
wants
be
to join up
intriguing.
on the
Probably not.
new. Yeah, no, but it's possible. I can't imagine she doesn't appear in the show because obviously they just made her, you know,
Hmm.
legit new ranger for a reason. Um, and then you obviously have the, Trapper Wolf, Dave Filoni's character, and the other pilot.
Captain
I don't
Carson
know his
Teve,
name.
Teva.
Thank you. So he, I think, is a good option to be in that as well. He's the one who mentions to. He's the one trying to convince Cara Dune to join, right? And he says there's something
Hmm.
going on, something big that a lot of people don't believe is really going on. And so I don't know. To me, that kind of felt like the direction they're going to go. These guys trying to figure out what it is that's going on. Um, yeah, I don't know. I hope we get a glance at what the New Republic is up to. Get a little bit
Hmm.
more of a stance for um, the government and some of the things that we didn't really get to dive into as much in the sequels that I would have liked to know more about, the politics, things like that.
Right.
Maybe an opportunity to really tie it in with that stuff. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know.
Anything jump out at you?
I just thought it was funny because it seemed like as soon as this came out, everyone's like, "This is Cara Dune show," and I was like,
Yeah.
"What did you see that I didn't?" Just thought it was funny because it was like
Yeah.
it seemed like every Star Wars page was just like claiming that's what it was, and I was like, I mean, probably, I don't know, but I definitely do think like you brought up. I know that was someone who I talked about right away. It was Paul Sun Hyung Lee, who is the Carson Teva guy. I think he's been in some stuff recently. I mean, he's in I think Kim's Convenience Store would probably be what most people know him from. Fun little like Korean shop owner. Um, but it's on Netflix, yeah. But I think that would be to me seems like the most likely. I don't think Dave Filoni is going to be an actor. I know Dave Filoni, like
Well,
he talked about that he didn't like doing his role in the first season, right? And all
he'll
he did was just
probably
like
show
go
up though
like
once or twice.
hi. That's all he did, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm sure Dave Filoni doesn't want to be acting anymore, so I don't think we're gonna. Yeah, he'll show up, but I mean Favreau
Yeah.
showed up
He's not
like
going to be a
three
main
different
character
times,
probably either,
hidden in
as they
things.
do.
So like it won't be surprising if we see cameos of themselves.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to my buddy how we're just make them magically cast themselves in their own shows repeatedly, but I think he's a good option to be as one of the main people. But I do think the concept of it culminating in a climactic story event seems intriguing. Just because it's like, what does that
Yeah.
mean? Like is is it going to be like old school Disney Channel? Like, are we going to have like the Sweet Life of Zatso Raven, Montana or whatever? Right? Is that what
Dude,
we're going to see?
classic.
The
Classic.
Rangers of the new Ahsoka DeLorean. Is that what we're gonna watch? Is that like the season finale?
Oh man.
I mean, that would be
It
kind of
gave me
interesting.
it gave me a uh, kind of like a DC, the television DC verse
Mm,
vibe, where you have like Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, those guys, and how they each have their own series,
hmm.
but they do crossover events
They
where,
do constantly
you
show up in
know,
each other's stuff.
yeah, they're always in each other's episodes, and at the end, the finale of Arrow, obviously the multiverse all comes together, right? And so it's like
Hmm.
everyone from every show is there in the finale together. So it makes you wonder if it's something like that. Um, that's
Hmm.
kind of the vibe I got.
And then I know JW was talking about how the fact that Cara Dune and Grief Karga were barely involved in season two, despite the fact that they seemed like okay. Well, they're also, I mean, Cara Dune is relatively barely involved in season one from the
Yeah,
concept, right? But I think we all kind of anticipated that Cara Dune, Grief Karga, like they were going to be like big players, lots of screen time. But really, I mean, their screen time has been relatively short. So, I mean, do you think Grief Karga is going to be only the bad guy of The Mandalorian, or do you think he's going to make crossover into the bad guy of The New Republic? Because if,
wait, yeah, Gideon or
yeah, Moff Gideon.
you said Grief Karga?
Dang it, that hoe. I don't think Grief Karga is going to be in it, but like, I was just thinking Moff Gideon in general has had less screen time than I would have expected. Grief Karga I didn't necessarily expect after, but I kind of thought Cara Dune would be more of Mando's buddy than she was, I guess. But I mean, then she was in this episode a lot more than I would have ever guessed at all, judging
Right.
from I guess chapters math. Chapter 14, like they show up and he's like, someone took the kid, and she's like, well, I'll press a button and get Mayfield out of jail for you. And then actually, chapter 15, she's there for the entire freaking thing, and you're like,
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't expect
expect
that
that
at
either.
all. So I mean, maybe I'm expecting her to still be around in 16, but I mean, Grief Karga, or nope. Grief Karga, I mean, he's gone. Like, we haven't seen him since, the thing. But I
Yeah,
don't expect him to be in the New Republic too much. But Moff Gideon, was he the bad guy? Because I guess what I was thinking with Captain Tivo, how he's like, hey, there's some stuff going on out here, right, in the Outer Rim. To me, that all seems like it's all Moff Gideon, right?
could be.
I mean, there's in the unknown
Or
regions,
First
that's where you
Order
have
staff.
Palpatine, but like it seems like that's it seems like Moff Gideon seems to be the guy in charge of a lot of the cells of the Empire right now.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
yeah.
interesting on, like, do you think he's going to be the bad guy, or do you think there's going to be someone else? Because if they're doing this concept, I think Moff Gideon might just be the overall bad guy of the, I don't know what you would call this, but Rangers, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian are all the same time period. They're almost like their own little mini trilogy of TV shows, right?
He could be kind of the main guy.
He could be the
Yeah,
Palps.
yeah. I don't know. Um, Overall, though, mostly I hope, and they could be talking about the formation of the First Order and how that's kind of starting to,
Right.
the Empire's going to dissolve into
We could
that and
be
become the First
totally
Order.
wrong.
So it could be a million different things, but I do
Hmm.
hope that we get to learn a little bit more about the formation of the First Order and maybe what's going on Hosnian Prime with
Right.
Leia, and even if we just hear a little bit about it, because these guys are working for the New Republic, right? So you would have to think that we're going to learn about what's going on with the New Republic, what things they're trying to get in, what they're voting on, how they're trying to reorganize the government and
Right.
politics of it.
You would think that would
Leia
be
obviously
important.
involved in that. Yeah, and then it was never really explained for us in episode 7, right? Which I know is one of me and your kind of big complaints, is we just
Right.
kind of went into it not really knowing the state too much of the government. So, anyways, I hope we get a little bit of that in this. And that's kind of my take with it. Jon Favreau, Filoni doing it, so it's obviously going to be good.
And the only other important thing, I know if you watched our Ahsoka commentary, or if you haven't seen that yet, because we haven't recorded it yet. If you're watching this live, um, that they did specify that this is going to be a new live action series. Now, duh, we knew it was going to be live action. But the Ahsoka, they did write that it's a limited series. I'd like to point that out, that that's an express difference
A
between the two projects. Um, the other limited series include
Obi
Obi-Wan
Wan.
Kenobi, which we know is confirmed for only one season.
in like what 6 episodes,
Yeah. So
I believe.
just
So
a thought that you might want.
Ahsoka will probably be
That this
shorter
is likely to
than New
be like a
Republic.
real thing. Probably like 3 seasons where Ahsoka might only be one. So
Yeah.
this might spin off. If this is really going to be like these 3 seasons, then it has a chance to really kind of cover all these different concepts, like the politics of the New Republic, like Moff Gideon being a bad guy. Like the state of the formation of the First Order, things like that. So it'll be exciting to see for sure.